Everyone laughed at her for marrying a man with HIV. How could a beautiful, healthy young lady like this agree to marry a sickly and dying man with no wealth, no fame? She must have gone mad, they said. But Saraphina didn't care about all that. She chose love and peace of mind over everything. Dear viewers, if you are just tuning in for the first time, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, tell us where you are watching from and share your thoughts about this story. The sun rose in the bustling city of Lagos, splashing its hotness over the rusted zinc tops. Just in the center of the popular Ajegunle town stood a pepper soup joint with a huge plastic sign that read, Saraphina's Pepper Soup Joint. Inside the shop were filled with noise and the sweet smell of pepper soup, the hissing of teeth as customers dragged their meats with their teeth, the clamping of spoons on the iron plates, male and female customers calling out to the shop owner to be fast about their orders, and the soft music from a rusting MP3 at a corner of the shop. In a corner of the shop stood Saraphina, slim, dark-skinned, beautiful oval-shaped face. Her hands swiftly serving customers pepper soups, trying not to keep them waiting for too long. As she serves from the pot, two young girls working for her would carry a tray to deliver them to waiting customers. Her pepper soup was the best in the area. Spicy, her goat meat soft and crunchy. She cooked her food herself, taking her time to put every ingredients and spices. At 25, she had grown this business. No rich parents, friends, or destiny help her. It was all by her sweat, determination, patience, learning, and trying out different recipe to perfect her cooking skills. For Saraphina, customers were her everything. They were her friend, neighbors, family, and destiny helper. Without them, she would not be where she is now. She wore a black apron, her head tied with a black scarf to avoid hair from falling into the food. Sweat formed on her forehead from the heat oozing out of the hot pepper soup, but she still smiled sweetly, waving at her customers. The small door of the shop pushed open, but this time, everyone turned their gaze to the customer who had just entered. The room fell silent. You could hear the heartbeat of everyone inside the shop. Saraphina's gaze wandered to the door, wondering who it was. In came a man, barely able to move his legs. He was dark-skinned, roughly shaved beard. He wore a faded white singlet and blue jean trousers. He looked sick. His ribs were visible. It was like he hadn't eaten in months. From the way he walked, he looked like he could fall any moment. He walked straight to where Saraphina stood. Lingering eyes followed him. "I want to buy pepper soup," the man said quietly. The silent room became noisy again, as customers' whispers. "Is he a mad man?" one woman muttered. "He looks sick," another whisper. "He better not infect the food," a female customer muttered, casting a disgusting look at him before covering her food. Some others who were yet to be served left the shop, afraid of getting infected with whatever illness he had. Saraphina, seeing all this, stepped forward. "You are welcome, sir," she said softly. "Please do have a seat and tell me what you want. I will personally serve you," she told the young man. The man looked up at her, surprised by her kindness. Hesitating, he said quietly, "The thing is, I don't have enough money on me, and I am really hungry," his head bending in shame. She smiled sweetly at him. "Don't worry, sir. You don't have to pay. Let's just say your bills are on the house for today." She quickly went back to serve his order. She placed the plate of hot pepper soup with a big piece of goat meat in front of him. She brought 2 sachets water for him. The man immediately digged into the food. He ate as though he had just finished a 40 days dry fasting. With each bite of the goat meat, his eyes lit up like a little baby sulking his mother's breast. When he was done, he drank all 2 sachets water and heaved a sigh of relief, like someone saved from drowning. "Thank you," he said softly. As he walked out, the whispers resumed. Some customers held their nose, like he smells badly. One customer hissed and said sternly, "You had better throw away that spoon if you do not want to lose customers." Another customer muttered, "She is wasting her kindness on dying man." Saraphina ignored them all, her expression normal. No anger, no disgust for the man who had just left. Just pity. She carried the plates and took them away. Unknown to her, something inside her had stirred. She didn't know yet, but her life would not remain the same after this day. It had been 1 month since the sick man had come into her shop. Business in Saraphina's pepper soup joint was moving well as usual. Customers trooped in their numbers daily, from the KK riders to the motorcycles riders to the government workers who earned meager salary. to business owners who just couldn't have enough of her spicy pepper soup. But no matter how busy her day gets, Saraphina couldn't help but think about the sickly man in faded singlet, the man whose eyes had pierced her soul. She silently prayed he was fine wherever he was. One Tuesday evening, as Saraphina was about to close her shop, the small wooden door creaked open. She turned, and there he was again. He looked a little cleaner this time, though still weak. His beard was neater, and instead of the faded singlet, he wore a simple black polo and blue jean, but his sad eyes were still the same. "Good evening, Saraphina," he said softly, his voice carrying both shyness and gratitude. Her heart skipped a beat. "It's you again. You came back," she said warmly. "Please, sit down." As he sat, she quickly served him pepper soup without waiting for him to ask. He smiled faintly, as though he had not felt such care in a long time. While he ate, she pulled a chair and sat opposite him. "You didn't come for a whole month," she said gently. "I was worried something bad had happened to you." He paused, spoon halfway to his mouth. His eyes softened. Nobody has ever said those words to him before. "You were worried about me?" "Yes," she said firmly. He swallowed hard, not from the spicy pepper soup, but from the weight of her words. "So, you didn't tell me your name the last time we're here," Saraphina said, her eyes fixed on his face like she was trying to read his mind. "Gabriel. My name is Gabriel," he said softly. "You mean the angel Gabriel?" He chuckled. "The kind of laugh you get when you give a kid a candy." "No, not the angel Gabriel. Just Gabriel," he responded. She laughed, hitting him slightly on his arm. "I know, silly. I was only kidding." The room fell silent. Time stood still. They stared at each other, a smile on their lips. It felt as if they have known each other for a long time. Saraphina blinked, her brain reminding her to get a hold of herself. "This man needs help, not love," she thought to herself. She looked away from him, breaking the silence. "What happened to you? Why are you like this? Don't you have family, siblings, or relations?" "I am sorry if the question are much. I don't mean to pry," she added. Gabriel lowered his head, his face filled with sadness. He hesitated, then shook his head. "Life happens, Saraphina, but I don't want to talk about it now," he told her. "Besides, everything about me is sadness, and I would not want to spoil your evening. Instead, let's talk about you. So, tell me, how did you manage to build the business this big? I want to know the story." Saraphina smiled. She knew he purposely avoided her questions, but she understood. Sometimes people don't heal from pain. They just mask it. "When my parents passed, I was only 5 years, so grew up alone. By the time I was 10 years old, I was working for a woman who owned a local eatery. I was getting paid a meager salary while also learning how to cook there. I worked with her for 7 years before I decided to quit. At 17, I opened Saraphina's pepper soup joint with the money I saved from working at the eatery. I started under an umbrella, with 2 pots, 1 cooler, 2 sets of chairs for my customers. I was patient. I knew success don't come easy. I printed business flyers and shared to people in the market, church, school, and even the mosque. That was how people started coming to have a taste of my food, and soon I could afford a bigger place, which is this place you see today," Saraphina narrated. Gabriel's eyes lit with pride as she finished her story. He looked around the shop, shaking his head like a man seeing his bride for the first time. Their eyes met again. This time, none of them looked away. Saraphina looked at him. This time, she didn't see a broken man. She saw a man who was real. No fakeness. He didn't have money, but he saw her for who she was. The way he listened when she told her story. No one had ever cared to relate with her small beginning. Not until now. "Can I tell you something?" she said. "Of course. I want you to stop pitying yourself. I don't know what happened to you, but if you continue feeling like the world has ended, it might really end for you," Saraphina said. Gabriel smiled and nodded. "I will remember your words and try." That night, they talked for hours. They talked about life challenges, about family, movies, about friendship, love in unexpected places. Just when Saraphina was enjoying the conversation, "I have HIV," Gabriel blurted out. "I got it via blood transfusion," he revealed. She freezes, taking in what she had just heard. He looked at her, as if searching her soul. He bent his head. Another rejection, he thought to himself. Saraphina held his hands and said softly, "I am so sorry. I cannot begin to imagine what you have been going through." He hesitated. "You didn't hear what I said, did you?" I said. "I heard you loud and clear." She cut him off before he could finish. "So what if you have the human immune virus? It's a sickness that can be managed." Gabriel was shocked. "What manner of a person is this?" he whispered to himself. From that night, Michael began to come more often. Every evening, after customers had left, he would sit in the corner while Saraphina washes plates. Sometimes, he helped her sweep the floor, and they would talk until the shop was quiet. One night after they were done with cleaning the shop, they sat down to rest. "I've been thinking." Saraphina broke the silence. "Are you on medication to manage the sickness? Because I know it has been difficult for you, so I want to give you money to start the treatment," she continued. "I know I do not have much, but I won't stay and do nothing." Gabriel raised his head, shocked by what he just heard. Nobody has ever cared for him like this. "But why are you so kind to me, even with my sickness?" he said. "Because sickness or no sickness, I see a human being first. And as humans, it is left to us to show kindness and help when we can," she replied. Their friendship grew to the point you barely see one without the other. In the data that Gabriel didn't come, Saraphina would sit outside her pepper soup joint waiting and hoping to see him. One day, Saraphina was on her way from the market when she heard a group of 3 women gossiping about her. "That girl Saraphina did not see all the healthy rich men to be friends with. It's that one that will go any moment from now she chose," one woman muttered. "Her father would be turning in his grave by now," another chipped in. Immediately, they noticed her presence. They all hissed and went their separate way. "Look at her. Wasted beauty," one of the women threw at her. When Saraphina got home, she was moody, not from the talk about her, but for the way people stigmatized Gabriel. It was not his fault that the doctors had been careless. If only they had thoroughly screened the blood, he would not have gotten the disease. She felt so bad for him. She knew it was not easy living with the sickness. The next day when Gabriel came, he noticed she was unusually quiet, not her usual smiling self. "What is wrong, my dear?" he asked, touching her face. He continued, "Did I do anything wrong?" Scared that she was changing her mind about associating with him. "No, you didn't, Gabriel. I am just sad because of what the people around are saying about you. I mean, they haven't even met you, and they are use your situation to judge and mock you." "It's not fair," Saraphina said, almost in tears. "Life itself is not fair, my dear," he cut her off. "I mean, look at me. I am an evidence of how unfair life can be." Saraphina's heart trembled. She was falling for this man. She couldn't help it. Her heart had decided whom it wanted, and it was this fragile but good man. She had done her research about a disease. She had learnt that the viral load of a carrier can be managed, so it could not be transmitted via sexual relation. Now that he is on treatment, he would live a healthy life. Saraphina flung herself into his embrace, her body shaking as she confessed her feelings to him. "Are you crazy?" he whispered. "How can you want to spend your life with me even after everything you know? What would people say?" "I don't care what anyone would think or say. You are a good man. You deserve to be loved, and if my heart says it's you, then I am ready for whatever may come," she assured him. From then on, their bond grew stronger, and soon the whole community began to whisper again. "Imagine, that girl wants to marry a man with HIV. What a waste of beauty. She must be mad." But Saraphina didn't care. She had chosen her heart, and nothing could change that. But then, he stopped coming to her shop. They didn't have a fight. He just suddenly stopped showing up. Saraphina's days felt longer without Gabriel. She would stand by the doorway of her pepper soup joint, looking out into the street, hoping to see his figure appear. But each day ended the same way. No Gabriel. At first, she told herself he must be sick and needed rest. But when the days stretched into weeks, her heart could no longer stay calm. She worried about him so much that even her customers noticed her mood had changed. "Madame Saraphina, you don't smile like before, oh," one customer said while sipping pepper soup. She forced a smile. "I'm fine, sir. Just tired." But inside, she was breaking. One Saturday morning, while Saraphina was serving her customers, a little boy ran into the shop. "Auntie Saraphina, come and see, there is a man asking for you." He came with plenty motors. Confused, she ran outside. But the sight she met was not what she expected. Kneeling down on one knee, dressed in an expensive blue suit, shiny black shoes, and looking healthy, was Gabriel. He had a huge smile on his face. "From the first day I came into your pepper soup joint, you have shown me nothing but love. You taught me that no matter the situation a person faces in life, there is always someone meant for them. Even when people mocked you for staying with me, you didn't care. You took all the insults for my sake. Saraphina, dear, will you marry me? He said, stretching out a small red box. In it was a beautiful diamond ring. Dazed Saraphina looked around, not believing what her eyes was seeing. With a trembling lips, she said, "Is this a dream? I don't understand. Gabriel, where have you been? Who owns all these cars?" she asked all at once. Gabriel stood up and drew her into an embrace. Then he faced the small crowd that had gathered around them. "My good people of Ajegunle, as you can see, I am not poor, neither am I sick. That was just a disguise to find my better half." He turned to Saraphina. "I will explain everything later, dear. But first, will you be my wife?" "Yes, Gabriel, I will be your wife," she whispered softly, tears dropping from her eyes. Gabriel slipped the ring on her finger and pulled her into a warm embrace. The whole crowd erupted in joyful, loud cheers, some clapping, jumping, while others were dancing. Few people who had Android phones took pictures and videos of the moment. Those who condemned him in the past immediately began to regret their actions. One old man said, "I will never judge people by how they look again. See how this girl has won a crown because she didn't join the crowd to condemn him." Soon, news of Gabriel being a rich billionaire disguised as a sick man traveled around. Social media bloggers carried the news. Some of the headlines were, "Billionaire disguised as a poor man with HIV. Poor pepper soup seller whined the heart of young billionaire." Saraphina became a celebrity. People came from far and near, not to buy her pepper soup, but to confirm if truly the rumors of the girl who won the billionaire was true. Others came to see if she was as beautiful as they said she was in the news. It had been 1 month since Gabriel proposed. One evening, as Saraphina was about closing for the day, a black G-Wagon parked in front of the shop. The driver stepped out, dressed in a red plain shirt and trousers. "Good evening, Ma. My boss Gabriel Anderson asked me to take you to his house." "Okay, but I would take some time to go home, and some clothes." "There will be no need for that, Ma. My boss has made arrangements for that." She entered the car and off the went. The mighty gate of the billionaire's mansion opened on its own as the driver maneuvered the car into the compound. The house was very huge, like a palace. Cars lined up in the compound like a car lot where they sell cars. Saraphina opened her mouth, overwhelmed by the sight that was before her. She had never seen anything like this before. All the staff were lined up to welcome Saraphina. Standing in front of the mansion was Gabriel, dressed in an expensive blue tailored suit. He was smiling like a baby who had just took his first step. The smile made her heart skip faster. As she got down from the car, she ran into his embrace. She had missed him so badly. Gabriel pressed her gently into his huge body. He smiled. He too had missed her. "My sweet baby, I miss you too," he told her. "Come, let me show you around your new home." He held her hand and led her inside. That night, Gabriel handed the wedding invitation card to Saraphina. Everything was ready. In a week's time, they would become husband and wife. If it were left to Gabriel, he would marry her immediately, but he had to be patient. The day of the wedding, Saraphina stood in front of the big mirror. The wedding dress she was wearing fitted her perfectly, like it was made just for her. Her makeup was beautifully done by a professional makeup artist. Outside the hall, cars filled the street. People trooped in, dressed in their finest clothes. It wasn't just a wedding. It was the talk of the town. The wedding everyone had been waiting for. As she stood before the mirror, her hands shaking lightly as she touched her face, the slim, dark-skinned girl from Ajegunle pepper soup joint now looked like a queen. She could hardly believe this was her. "Are you ready, my dear?" the makeup artist asked softly. Saraphina nodded, but her heart pounded loudly in her chest. Meanwhile, Gabriel stood at the altar, dressed in a white tuxedo. His smile was brighter than the diamonds on his wristwatch. Yet, in his heart, he was more nervous than he had ever been in his life. The choir began to sing softly as the church doors opened wide. Saraphina, holding a bouquet of fresh red roses, stepped in. All heads turned to look at her. Phones went up immediately. Flashes from cameras filled the air. "She looks like an angel," someone whispered. Gabriel's eyes welled up with tears. The woman who once served him pepper soup without fear or shame was now walking down the aisle to become his wife. Step by step, she came closer until she stood before him. The pastor smiled. Today two hearts become one. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Gabriel took her hands, his voice shaking as he said his vows. Saraphina, you loved me when I was nothing. You gave me hope when I had lost it. Today, I promise to love you, protect you, and never let you cry again. Tears rolled down Saraphina's cheeks as she replied, Gabriel, I don't care about the riches. I never did. I love you for who you are. Today, I promise to stand by you, in sickness and in health, for as long as I live. By the power vested in me, the pastor declared, I pronounce you husband and wife. The hall shook with clapping, whistling, and shouts of joy. Social media went wild, with live streams and trending hashtags. From a humble pepper soup seller to the wife of a billionaire, Saraphina's story became a living testimony that love can break barriers, silence mockery, and rewrite destinies. That night, as the couple sat quietly on the balcony of the mansion, Gabriel held her hand. Do you know why I disguised myself? He asked softly. Saraphina shook her head. I wanted to see who would love me for me. Not for the money, not for the fame. Girls threw themselves at me just because of my wealth. But I didn't want that. I wanted pure love, care that comes from the heart. And in you, I found everything I was searching for. She rested her head on his shoulder, smiling through tears. And in you, I found the man my heart was waiting for. She remembered all those who had mocked her. Now they wished to be her. The stars above sparkled brightly, as though heaven itself was blessing their union. And so, the girl who once served pepper soup in a small shop became the bride of a billionaire, proving to the world that true love is stronger than sickness, gossip, or wealth. Looking back, she remembered the words of the elders. If you judge a soup by its face, you might miss out on a delicious meal.